All right, back with Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. Yes, we talk more than boxing. We back up in this thing, all right? And if you didn't see, Earl Thomas fractured his leg this weekend. And it's showing why Le'Veon Bell is holding out and not trying to play this year. I explained the whole situation, two-part video, right? Le'Veon Bell will report to the Steelers week 7 on a bye week, okay? We're gonna speak about that, but let's talk about let's talk about from the beginning, okay? Let's talk about the root cause of this, okay? There's one thing that the NFL players don't have guaranteed contracts. It's another thing that they have the worst contracts in sports, not because of the non-guaranteed contracts. It's because of one of the worst things ever invented in the sport with non-guaranteed contracts, the franchise tag. Now, the franchise tag, you can use it. A team gets one once a year. You can use it on any player you want to use it on your team. But usually the team, can designate the franchise tag on one of their valuable commodities they can't reach a long-term deal with. There's only so many years, 2 or 3 years, you can franchise a player before they hit free agency. Each year, the pay go up. It goes up by the top 5 of the position, then maybe the top 3 or something like that. I'm kind of ignorant as far as how does the money pay out, but it pays pretty good, but it's only for 1 year, okay? Most players want security in football because we know it's non-guaranteed contracts, but they want the big signing bonus and the big guaranteed money. All the full contract isn't guaranteed, so you might get 5 years, let's say 5 years, $50 million, but only $25 million is guaranteed. And a lot of the time, a lot of the 25 guaranteed money is up front or on the front end of the contract. You may get 10 of it, in the signing bonus, and the bulk of it in the first two years of the contract. And then at the end of the contract, it tapers off. But after that guaranteed money is gone in your contract, the team can keep you for a little bit of money on the back end, or they can cut you or get rid of you. So that's the thing about it. Earl Thomas was in his last year, his deal here. He knew he wanted to leave Seattle. Last year he told the Dallas Cowboys to come get him. They didn't. They tried to trade for him, couldn't close the deal. I thought they would trade for Earl Thomas after they played Earl Thomas, especially after the performance he put on with 2 spectacular interceptions of Dakota Prescott, the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. Then the next week they played the Arizona Cardinals. Some part in the second half, I believe, he fractured his leg and he flipped the bird, which I kind of cropped out. He flipped the bird to the Seahawks sideline, basically probably to the GM and to the coaching staff, because he wanted to get paid. They didn't want to pay him. And it wasn't no reason they didn't pay Earl Thomas. They just didn't trade him because Cam Chancellor is probably done with a career-ending neck injury. Cliff Averill is done with a neck injury. His career is over with. Richard Sherman had moved on. So they could have did the right thing and paid Earl Thomas. They wanted to move on from the Legion of Boom. Or they could have paid Earl Thomas, or they could have traded Earl Thomas. And they didn't want to do it. So Le'Veon Bell plays a position called running back, what most people know, which they take the most blunt hits. Every time they touch the ball, they get hit. Every time they touch the ball, either they blocking, if they're on the sideline, or they coming out for a route. Le'Veon Bell is identified as being the best running back by most people in the National Football League, okay? He has an injury history, okay, but he's been pretty much durable. He has some off-the-field issues, but he's very, very vital to what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. Thus, the Pittsburgh Steelers started off 1-2-1. Without him, James Conner is doing an excellent job. He's a guy out of the University of Pittsburgh who beat Hopkins lymphoma, came back to the football field and doing his thing, but he's no Le'Veon Bell, and they're missing Le'Veon Bell, okay? They're not respecting the run no more when Le'Veon Bell was there. But you see a guy like Le'Veon Bell, see Earl Thomas get hurt. He says on Instagram when Earl Thomas posts, I believe, I'll be the bad guy. I'm paraphrasing here, just to show people, the situation and see what happened to Earl Thomas. Same thing can happen for Le'Veon Bell. He can get $15 million this year. And a lot of people say, well, $15 million is a lot of bread. It's a lot of money. But where's the security beyond the $15 million after the 1 year? If he go out there and get hurt, it's over. He's just living off the $15 million and what he's earned. And he's just showing and symbolizing that Earl Thomas is not a poster child for it. Same thing happened to Javon Walker for the Green Bay Packers. He set out to try to get his money, and Brett Favre said, I need you in camp right now. and Javon Walker end up tearing his leg up, not being the same player again, not being able to make a living in the National Football League. You think Brett Favre, sent him his salary, sent him some money? Absolutely not. And the players are mad, and the offensive line was mad. The same offensive lineman that Le'Veon Bell bought $20,000 watches for. They mad, talking about why he in that camp, why he mad. And that's why the NFL players probably never beat the system or never compete with the system of the NFL owners. Because for one, they know they headed for a lockout, and the last lockout they was headed for, none of the players, save their money. All the players living paycheck to paycheck like your average American. Okay, they didn't save no money. All the money they're making, it was broke. Okay, so they had to copy into the owners, and the owners have other hustles. Where they have other businesses, the NFL is usually a hustle. And for Le'Veon, he want that security. He the best back in the NFL. He's seen Tom Gurley get paid. And, can you blame him? He's he's one of the best receivers, running backs in the league. He probably better than some receivers, and he's the best runner of the ball in the league. Shouldn't he deserve a contract? Why didn't the Steelers do right by him? Okay. And they feel that he's probably not important or as valuable as they thought he was, and they see him that as a lie. Even with AB, Antonio Brown, even with Juju Smith Jr., even with Ben Roethlisberger, the team is still struggling because when you can hand the ball off and you can pick up third downs and keep your defense off the field and wear out the other defense, that's very, very important. But it's expected in the video, it's expected that Le'Veon Bell is going to report during the Steelers bye week. He's going to play after week 7. He's going to come in and try to do his thing. At that point, there's 3 more weeks. The Steelers may be out of contention, but the positive thing about it is that the Baltimore Ravens and the Bengals, they have a history of sliding and slipping. It's a history of a division that's tough. So if Le'Veon can come back and do something, the Steelers are not out of it, but they must win at least 2 of the next, 2 games. I think 1 or 2 games coming up. And then Le'Veon, hopefully he come back the same. Hopefully he been staying in shape. Hopefully he can snap back in football shape, and you good. But there are also rumors saying they still talking about trading Le'Veon Bell, which they should. When he didn't come to training camp, he report the first week, they should have traded Le'Veon Bell. Now teams know they're desperate to trade Le'Veon Bell. Okay, they just inquired about him. The Texans can use him. There's plenty of teams that can use a Le'Veon Bell. Okay? And whatever they ask for Le'Veon Bell, they have to chop it in half because they know that, Le'Veon Bell going to walk regardless, and they try to court him in free agency, so they know the Steelers are desperate to dump him off. They took him off the roster. They took him off, some of the programs where they list a roster and stuff of that nature. They're trying to wash their hands of him, and I think now that he's reporting he's going to come back week 7, I think they're going to look to move him that bye week or before then. But the Earl Thomas situation just shows you that, make sure you protect yourself. No matter what the criticism you come from your teammates, no matter what the criticism the coaches say, this is a brutal sport. Make sure you put your body and your money first in this sport, period. Forget your team. I know it sounds bold guys like us play Pop Warner, PAL, high school ball, collegiate level ball, pro ball. It sounds bold, and you taught that football is the ultimate brotherhood in sports, okay? But when it comes to your well-being, it comes to your family, and it comes to your pockets, you make sure you do right for yourself and not for the people around you. Because as soon as you go down, your career over with. Look at Jamal Anderson, look at Terrell Davis, guys like that. None of them dudes going to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? None of them dudes probably going to lend you money. You're going to be an afterthought. So you make sure you take care of your well-being. You make sure you don't let nobody peer pressure you to coming in until they give you money. Okay? And you make sure if you're in a position to leverage, you're the best player on the team, as Earl Thomas probably is, or one of the best players for the Seahawks, and Le'Veon Bell seems to be the most important player on the Steelers. You make sure your pocket's right. It's a serious game out here. And all players should make sure they invested their money. Even if you go back to school, take some online classes, see how you reinvest your money, see how you start a business up, see how you double, triple your money in property value, or put your money into another business that makes you happy. Maybe work on cars on the side, get you a car shop. Just something to have the money flowing. Or be like Chris Brown, buy a franchise of Burger King or McDonald's he got. You know what? And that's what it is, man. But Shout out to everybody supporting what we're doing over here. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also, if you'd like to donate to the PayPal link is in the description. Sorry, I missed a preview and a review week for the NFL. I tried to do a Sunday. Ironically, my internet went out. Then it popped back in, so then the games are already on. But we're going to try to reboot it up this week as well. And we do more than boxing. We do more than football. Check our playlists out, NBA, live streams coming. So we definitely blessed, and I'm blessed to have you guys viewing our videos, man. So continue to share the videos on social media. Follow us on Twitter and retweet the videos out. Every time we drop a video, it's on Twitter. Also, check out our Raw and Uncut podcast. The podcast link in the description. Just download the free Castbox app. And check us out, man. If you're in a boxing talk show Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get that notification. We gone.